Good afternoon, ladies. It's Charlie Wall here. I wanted to come in and tell you about an experience that I had this morning because I felt it was important to talk to you from a place of you're not alone, okay, and that we all go through stuff. And particularly as I want this group to empower you to feel supported and ask for help and start your own threads. And I love that Jackie posted below that she loves the group but doesn't necessarily post all the time. So thank you, Jackie. And I also love that Sarah's asked for advice about her job. But so this morning, it's my son's birthday today. It's my son's 19th birthday. And I didn't realise that I had been harbouring feelings about that until this morning. Now, those of you that know me knows he actually lives in Corfu. He left home just before his 17th birthday 3 years ago. So just after my dad had died, I was selling my house, selling my business, and he left home at the same time as well. And yeah, he's turned 19 today, and I was, really happy, really proud. I spoke to him, and then after I spoke to him, I felt incredible sadness, incredible grief, and I'm very emotional. And I kind of sat with that for a bit, and I was thinking, like, why do I feel this sadness and grief when he's 19? And that's fucking amazing. And then it occurred to me that I had, because my brother died at the age of 18, I had a deep-rooted fear that my son would also die at the age of 18. And that he wouldn't make it to be 19. And I suddenly kind of felt a release, because I saw that had been my fear for the last 19 years, from the moment he was born until today, that I had carried this anxiety around him dying at the same age as my brother died. And what I was able to do in those moments this morning was sit with it. Just sit with the grief and sit with the pain and sit with the emotion and know that it would flow through me naturally, as grief does, as anger does, as confusion does, doubt, fear. And that would be okay. And I could look at the me that had carried that fear for the last 19 years with love and with compassion, because I started to kind of feel bad about, why are you feeling sad when this should be a happy day? So there was judgment on me. And so what we can do is we can kind of layer on lots of thoughts around why we shouldn't be feeling a certain way, why we should be acting a certain way. And I know that for many, 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 many years, right up until a couple of years ago, I was carrying chronic anxiety coming from the death of my brother. And obviously my father was in the same accident, so he was very, very ill for 24 years afterwards. So what I want you to know is, because a lot of people say to me, you're calm, you've got it sorted, you don't feel the things I do. And I really want you to know that I'm a human being. We're all human beings doing the best we can with the thinking that we have at the time. And I didn't know that I was creating my own prison with my thinking. I didn't know that I was creating my own anxiety with my thoughts. I didn't know until someone told me and showed me a different way that that's what I was doing, and that I didn't have to live my life like that. And I'm no better or no worse than anyone else in this group. I'm doing the best that I can in any given moment. I think if you watched my video the other day, I said I'd got a prop. I'd got my Chinese finger trap. So I want to use this as a visual to kind of explain to you about anxiety, or any kind of feelings around our body, or any kind of heavy thinking that we have, whatever form that takes for you, because we each have our own flavour of that. And what we innocently try and do is fix the problem that we think is the problem. But when I work with people, when I teach people, I'm dealing with the foundational piece, the grounding piece, working our way up. Okay, so I got this, and I saw a colleague of mine using it, and I thought, this is fucking great. This is a great way for me to explain how our thinking can create anxiety and stress. So this Chinese finger trap, if I put my fingers in and try and get my fingers out again, I'm resisting. It holds onto my fingers. I can't get my fingers out, right? If I release and let this go, I can get my fingers out easily. Now, what happens when we think stressful thoughts or anxious thoughts? We literally go into this, and we're trying to make the thoughts go away. We're trying to fix the anxious thinking by either sort of doing behaviors or keeping ourselves safe. I know for me that I really smallened my world. So I stayed in the house. I would get, I had to feed the dog at a certain time. I had to walk the dog at a certain time. No one else could put the shopping in the trolley the right way as me. No one else could put the shopping in the bags at the end of the trolley the way that I could. And I'd get annoyed if it wasn't in the right place on the thing that takes the shopping through. If people put the plates in the wrong place, I'd get annoyed. And I was creating that myself because I had these rigid rules and structure around how I thought life should be for me, because I was innocently trying to keep myself safe because I didn't feel safe. I didn't know that I was already safe. So in those moments of anxiety, we have a thought, we have an anxious thought, or there's sad thought. Like this morning, for example, I was like, I didn't think my son would make it to be 19. In the past, I would have resisted that, and I would have tried to make it go away, and I might have drunk alcohol or gone for a run, or done anything, and stayed in that thought of sadness, that thought of grief, that thought of anxiety, the thoughts of I've got to keep my world, I've got to keep my world in order, I've got to be in control, and all the time I'm fighting it. But if I'd known that I could just relax, my fingers would come free. If I knew that I could just relax and not do anything about the thoughts because they're not true and they don't mean anything about me, then they would just flow through me. So this morning, I was sad. I felt grief. I felt sadness. I felt loss, and I just sat with it and allowed it to flow through me. And I actually thought this morning, oh no, because I had a client at 6:45. Oh no, I'm going to be, looking all tearful and. I won't. How am I going to coach someone when I'm feeling, this stress? But actually, because I was able to see through that and see that it was flowing through me, and see that it's okay to feel the sadness, it's okay to feel the grief, it's okay to feel like that. about your son and about your brother, and still be happy that it's your son's 19th, but that loss is something that, you know, is deeply ingrained, and it's okay, then that the stress of those thoughts eased. Oops, that didn't show that very well. My finger actually came out there and it's not meant to. So this would have been me a couple of years ago. Stress, worry. What I did this morning was I just released. I wasn't resistant to those feelings of sadness or those feelings of grief, and I just let them flow through me. And of course, underneath all that is calm and clarity and mental health and well-being and connection. So I want to show you that A, you're not alone, that B, this is an amazing group with lots of women if you ever want to ask for support, and there's courage in vulnerability. There's courage in asking for help, and that you're not broken. There's nothing wrong with you. Whether you're experiencing grief or sadness or anger or anxious thinking, or you've got habits that you don't particularly enjoy, there's nothing wrong with you. So please continue to use this group, because I want to empower you to have the courage to be vulnerable and know that you are loved, and know that you are cared for, and know that this group has got your back. That's it for now. I'll talk to you another day. I hope you have a lovely Wednesday. Take care. Lots of love. You are enough.